Hey everyone! Today, we're diving into the key ideas from the book Daily Discipline. Simple rules for consistent growth. Let's start with a story. There was this guy named Alex, around 24 years old. He had just finished college and was on the hunt for a good job. His dreams were big, a great career, a comfortable life, and making his family proud. But he had a problem, one that a lot of us share. He relied too much on motivation. Some mornings, if he felt motivated, he'd go for a run, eat a healthy breakfast, and read a book. But on days when he just wasn't feeling it, he'd drop everything. "I'll do it tomorrow," he'd tell himself. Over time, this became a habit. He'd watch a motivational video, get super pumped, and make grand plans for the next day, only for the fire to fizzle out after a couple of days. His friend, Jake, was a complete opposite. Jake's routine was like clockwork. He'd wake up at 6 a.m. every single day, no matter how much sleep he got or what the weather was like. Alex would sometimes see it pouring rain outside, but Jake would grab an umbrella and still go for his run. Alex was baffled. "Dude, how do you manage to get up every day?" "I can't even get myself out of bed at 6 a.m. Jake would just laugh and say, "Forget about feeling like it. If you only act when you feel motivated, you'll never achieve anything big. Motivation is unreliable. It's here today, gone tomorrow. But discipline, that's what gets the work done every single time." At first, Alex thought Jake was just too serious. But then he started noticing Jake's progress. His body was getting fit, he was consistent with his studies, and his job interview prep was really paying off. Meanwhile, Alex was constantly wasting days because of his "I don't feel like it" habit. One day, sitting in the park, Alex opened up. "Man, I just don't get it. I watch these motivational videos and I get so fired up, but it never lasts. 2 days later, I'm back to square one. How do you do it without that motivation?" Jake smiled and said, "Honestly, I don't feel the fire every day either. Sometimes, I really don't want to do it, but I don't give myself a choice. I tell myself, I have to do this. It's like eating or drinking. It's a non-negotiable part of my routine. Think of motivation like a car running on gas. It burns out quickly. Discipline is a battery that keeps a steady, continuous charge." That idea stuck with Alex. That day, he decided he wouldn't rely on motivation anymore. He'd bring discipline into his life. The first day was tough. The alarm went off at 6 a.m., and he had zero desire to get up. He thought about hitting snooze. But then he remembered Jake's words. Don't give yourself a choice. He forced himself out of bed and went to the park. When he got there, his mind was happy, even if his body was tired. He felt a sense of peace. The next day, the laziness returned. But now, Alex told himself, discipline means doing the work, whether you feel like it or not. Slowly, it became a habit. The first week was a struggle, but by the second week, the routine felt easier. He noticed a big difference. Before, he'd start with a burst of motivation and then quit. Now, with discipline, he was making small, consistent progress every day. He decided he'd read 10 pages of a book a day, no matter how busy he was. At first, it felt forced, but soon, he was finishing books. Before, he'd say, I don't have time. Now, he said, I have to make time. Alex finally understood why most people never achieve their dreams. They wait for motivation. Motivation is like a guest who may or may not show up. But discipline is like the owner of the house, always there, always on duty. A few months later, Alex had transformed. He was in better shape, his confidence had soared, and most importantly, he trusted himself. He no longer broke promises to himself. This was true self-confidence. In a job interview, when asked about his greatest strength, Alex didn't hesitate. My discipline, he said, and it truly was his greatest asset. But the story doesn't end there. Alex realized that discipline was a game changer in every area of life. Saving money, managing health, building relationships, or a career. If he had only relied on motivation, he'd still be stuck. Discipline had propelled him forward. Life wasn't easier now, but it was clearer. Alex's journey teaches us that relying on motivation is like looking for an umbrella during a rainstorm. It might work, it might not. But discipline is like building a roof that always offers protection. True progress comes when we learn to control our minds and commit to a routine. That's exactly what Alex did. He rose above his mood and embraced discipline. And that's where his real growth began. The power of small steps. Alex had successfully replaced motivation with discipline, and his life was improving. But he still faced a challenge. He believed that progress only happened with big, sweeping changes. If you were going to study, you had to study all day. If you were going to exercise, you had to spend hours at the gym. This mindset often led to failure because big steps are hard to maintain. One Sunday, Alex decided he'd focus on his health. He went to the gym and worked out for 2 solid hours. He left feeling like a champion, but the next day, he was so sore he couldn't even bring himself to go. The pain lasted for days, and soon his routine was broken. He realized the big start hadn't done him any good. Around this time, he watched Jake. Jake exercised for only 15 to 20 minutes a day, but he never missed a session. "Dude, you work out for such a short time," Alex said. "Will that even do anything?" Jake smiled. "That's the secret. It's better to do something small every day than to do something big and then quit. Think of it like a dripping faucet, filling a bucket. If you work out for hours once a month, you won't get much benefit. But if you put in a little effort every single day, you'll be amazed at the change in a year." This was an epiphany for Alex. He thought the same rule must apply to his studies and career. He'd often planned to cram an entire semester's worth of material over a weekend, only to get tired or lose motivation, and his plan would fall apart. He decided to change the system. He would study for just 1 hour every single day. At first, he thought, "What's an hour going to do?" But gradually, he saw a pile of books getting finished. Topics that had been on his to-do list for months were now being completed in small, manageable chunks. He started making small changes in all areas of his life. 10 minutes of meditation, 20 minutes of working out, and 1 hour of studying. The effects began to show in his mindset and his work. One day, he and Jake were sitting together. Alex said, "I used to think that only big efforts showed results. But now I see that small daily tasks are what create real change." Jake nodded. "Exactly. Think about someone who writes 1 page a day. In a year, they'll have written 365 pages, an entire book. But if they wait all year for the perfect mood, they might not even write a single page. That's the difference between small steps and big leaps." Alex began to see this formula everywhere. His health was improving from his light daily exercise. His mind was clearer from his short meditations. And his career prep was getting stronger from his daily study. His mom even noticed. "Son, you used to start everything and then quit," she said. "But now you're doing things little by little and finishing them. What changed?" Alex smiled. "Mom, I used to think I needed one big move to change my life. But now I know that small steps are what make the real difference. If I save a little bit every day, I'll have a good amount of money at the end of the year. If I eat a little healthier every day, my health will improve. Everything is built on small, consistent actions." His mom smiled back. "Just like a bird building a nest 1 straw at a time. A person's life is built with small actions, too." Alex's patience grew. He stopped worrying about when he'd see big results. He trusted that the results of his small actions would accumulate on their own, like money in a bank account. Months later, he barely recognized himself. His journey taught him that big changes don't happen suddenly. They are built from small daily efforts, goals versus systems. Alex had adopted discipline and embraced small habits, but a new question kept nagging him. "I've set so many goals, so why do I still feel stressed sometimes? Why do I feel like I'm not progressing as fast as I should be?" One evening, he was looking at his list of goals. Get a good job, a fit body, learn new language, read books every month, save money. But looking at the list made him feel stressed. It felt like he had to do everything at once, and if he didn't achieve one goal, all his effort would be for nothing. Just then, Jake came into his room. "What's up? Why the long face?" "I have all these goals," Alex said, "but I feel like I'm falling behind. I plan to do something in 2 months or 3 months, but I can never finish on time, and it just makes me feel defeated." Jake laughed. That's the problem. You're focusing only on the goals. But what's more important than goals are systems. Systems? What do you mean? Alex asked, confused. Jake explained. Think of a goal as a destination. But to get to that destination, you need a path. And that path is a system. If you just stare at the destination and say, I need to get there, without creating a system for daily travel, you'll get tired on the way. Goals without systems are like planting seeds, but never watering or tending to them. Alex was starting to get it, but it wasn't fully clear. Can you explain it more simply? Sure, Jake said. Let's say your goal is to run a marathon. If you just think about running a marathon, you'll feel pressure every day. But if you create a system, like running 3 kilometers every day, then 5 kilometers a week, and slowly increasing it, you'll reach your goal without the stress. The system does the work, and the goal takes care of itself. Alex took his own career as an example. He'd try to finish a whole book in 3 months, but when he didn't make enough progress in a week, he'd get discouraged. Jake said, if you just make a system to read for 1 hour every day, the book will be finished in 3 months. Don't focus on the goal. Focus on the system. The goal is the result of the system. It was a light bulb moment. Alex immediately took his list of goals and started turning them into small systems. Goal, fitness system, exercise for 20 minutes every day. Goal, read book system, read 10 pages every day. Goal, save money system, save 10% of my salary every month. Goal, pass the interview system, practice for 1 hour every day. As he created these systems, he felt a huge sense of relief. Now, all he had to do was follow the small systems daily. The results would come automatically. A few weeks later, he saw the change. Before, looking at his list made him anxious. Now, he was excited to check off his daily systems. Before, reaching his goals felt impossible. Now, with the systems, the journey felt easy. One of his college friends asked him, Dude, how are you so chill? The stress of not reaching our goals is eating us alive. Alex smiled. Because I'm not a goals person anymore. I'm a systems person. I follow my system every day. I don't worry about the result because I know it will come on its own. His friend joked, So you become a robot? No, Alex laughed. I'm still a human. I've just taught myself that it's more important to take a daily step than to just dream about the destination. Goals give me direction, but systems get me there. Alex's story teaches us that goals are important, but they only work with a strong system behind them. Simply setting a goal can lead to pressure and disappointment. But when you create a system, goals are achieved effortlessly. Alex now advises everyone, don't get stuck on goals. Trust the systems. Follow your small systems every day, and watch as your goals come running after you. Life becomes easier when you stop chasing goals and make systems your way of life. Discipline as self-respect. Alex was making great progress with his systems, but one morning, something happened that gave him a whole new understanding of discipline. His alarm went off at 6 a.m., but he hadn't slept well because he'd been scrolling on his phone late into the night. His mind told him, just skip today, get a little more sleep. He sat up and argued with himself. What's one day going to hurt? But then he remembered his promise. He'd work out for 20 minutes every morning, no matter what. He reluctantly got up and went to the park. As he started his run, his mood slowly lifted. After finishing, he took a deep breath and realized it wasn't just about the workout. It was about keeping a promise to himself. He felt a surge of pride. I said I would do it, and I did it. That evening, he told Jake about the feeling. Today, for the first time, I felt that discipline isn't just about finishing a task. It's about building trust with yourself. When I tell myself I'm going to do something, and then I actually do it, I know I can trust myself. Jake smiled. You've got it. Discipline isn't just for others to see. It's about self-respect. If you keep breaking promises to yourself, a voice inside will start to tell you that you're unreliable. But if you keep your small promises every day, that same voice will say, you can do this. That's true confidence. Alex realized how true this was. He remembered his old habits. I'll start studying tomorrow, he'd say, but tomorrow never came. I'll quit junk food, he'd promise, and then eat a burger the next day. This had created a feeling of guilt and a lack of self-trust. But now, things were different. Ever since he started following his small systems, a new sense of trust was growing. Every day he completed a task. No matter how small, he felt more reliable. He realized it was easy to keep promises to others because of social pressure. But keeping promises to yourself takes true strength because no one is watching. It's a relationship between you and your soul. One night, his friends called him for a last-minute party. They all said, "Come on, let's have some fun." Alex wanted to go, but he had promised himself he wouldn't stay up past midnight. He told his friends, "I'll come for a little while, but I have to leave by 11:30. They laughed. What's the big deal? Just one night won't hurt. Alex smiled. It's not about one night. It's about keeping my promise to myself. If I break it today, I'll break it tomorrow, and I'll lose trust in myself. I won't do that. That night, he left at 11:30 and walked home. He felt a deep sense of peace and pride. He was living for himself, not for others. Slowly, he began to understand that discipline wasn't a burden. It was a form of self-respect. He wrote in his journal, "Discipline is proving to myself that I am a person of my word. If I say I'll do something, I'll do it. That trust is the foundation of my confidence." His confidence wasn't just in his work. It affected his relationships, too. He no longer forgot small promises to his family or friends. His family noticed a change. "Alex, you're the person we always wanted you to be," his mom said. "We can trust you now." Alex smiled. "Mom, the real change came when I realized that discipline isn't about showing off to others. It's about showing respect to myself. When I keep my word to myself, I feel strong." Alex's journey teaches us that discipline isn't just a habit. It's a relationship with yourself. When you keep your promises, you build trust with yourself. And when you trust yourself, nothing in the world feels impossible. He now tells everyone, if you want confidence, stop looking for validation from others. Start keeping your promises to yourself. When you know you're a person of your word, true self-respect will follow, and that self-respect will get you to every goal you have. Designing your environment. Alex was now more disciplined and balanced, but sometimes he still felt like something was holding him back. He'd get on his phone to scroll social media, and a half hour or an hour would just vanish. Then he'd have trouble waking up, and it felt like his hard work was wasted. One day, on his commute home, he was reading a book and learned about a new concept: environment design, creating a space that helps you stick to your good decisions. The book said that we are less slaves to our habits and more slaves to our environment. If you design your environment correctly, discipline becomes easy. This was a revelation for Alex. He thought about his room, chips and cookie bags on his table, his laptop always open, and his phone charging right by his bed. Calling to him, expecting to be productive in that environment was foolish. He decided to change it. The moment he got home, he cleaned his table. He put all the junk food in the kitchen and replaced it with a bowl of fruit. He put his books and journal on the table to remind him to study. Then, he turned off his phone notifications and put the charger in a drawer far away from his bed. Now, if he wanted to use his phone, he had to get up and walk to get it. The difference was immediate. Without the phone by his side, he went to bed early. The next morning, when he saw the fruit bowl, he didn't even think about having cookies with his coffee. He grabbed an apple and thought, wow, the environment really does change a person. He started this practice at work, too. He'd often mindlessly open social media or check his email. So he removed all the shortcuts from his browser and put a water bottle on his desk. Whenever his mind wandered, his eyes would fall on the water bottle, and he'd take a refreshing sip. His focus began to improve. One weekend, his friend Sam came over. Sam looked at his room and said, "Dude, you completely changed this place. It used to be a mess. Now it's so organized and positive." Alex laughed. "Yeah, I used to think I needed to change my habits, but now I know that habits only change when you change your environment. If your phone is by your bed, you're to reach for it, no matter how disciplined you think you are." Sam joked. "So you become environment engineer?" Alex nodded seriously. "Exactly. If I want my life to stay on track, I have to create an environment where the right actions are easy and the wrong ones are difficult. Alex started applying this idea everywhere. He began packing his gym bag the night before and leaving it by the door, so he'd have no excuse not to go in the morning. He deleted all the useless apps from his phone. He even put a small whiteboard in his workspace to write down his weekly tasks. The effect was so profound that Alex would surprise himself. Tasks that used to require a huge amount of discipline now happened easily. He didn't have to force himself to eat fruit. It was right there. He didn't need to find motivation to study. The books were already on the table. One day, a coworker asked him, "Alex, you become so consistent. How do you do it?" Alex smiled. "I didn't try to change my habits. I changed my environment. Now, good habits just happen on their own." He explained how removing junk food from your home and keeping only healthy options makes you eat healthier, and how putting your phone away makes you use it less. Discipline isn't magic, he said. It's the power of your environment. If the environment is right, discipline follows. Alex's friends and colleagues started doing the same. Some deleted social media apps. Others moved their alarm clocks away from their beds. And they all found that these small changes made a huge difference. Alex felt lighter and more balanced than ever. He understood that you don't always need big effort to change your life. You just need to design your environment so that good habits become easy and bad ones become hard. He wrote in his journal, "Discipline doesn't come from willpower. It comes from the environment." He knew this was the biggest change he had ever made. Now, being healthy, focused, and consistent wasn't a struggle. It was just a part of his everyday life. Alex knew that new challenges would come, but now he had the solution. No matter the goal, he could design his surroundings to make it easier to achieve. And that was his real victory, because he no longer had to rely on motivation. His environment was leading the way, ending with a warm, friendly outro. So friends, that was our book summary for today. We hope you liked it. Please leave a comment and let us know what you think. Thanks for listening all the way to the end.